Hello, it's been a while, but we're back. We're talking about cricket and we're very excited to do it. Um, Main focus of today is going to be England versus West Indies because that's been the test cricket that me and Benji have been absolutely engrossed by for the last 2 weeks or so. Um, so England have just won the second test match against the West Indies. It has been a far, far better test match than the first one. First one, obviously, as an England fan, it was brilliant because, um, to be honest, they absolutely wiped the floor with West Indies.
Mhm.
West Indies looked very undercooked. The bowling was all over the shop, and the batting was pretty shambolic. Is probably the best word to describe it. In the second test, far more competitive. Still some relatively wayward bowling, and quite a few drop catches by the West Indies to allow England to get 416 in the first innings. However, West Indies really applied themselves in the batting department and put away some quite ineffective bowling from England on a flat deck. And Kavem Hodge, being the star player, brought his maiden ton of 120 off 171. And it gave them 457. So they actually led, which was ably supported by so a couple of 80s. But I think the most surprising one was well, not so surprising if you've been an England fan for a while, was the number 11, Shamar Joseph, getting 33 off 27. I say not
Yeah.
surprising because England's sort of struggles to put the tail away kind of continue. But then England put up a very sort of competitive total after that, another 400 plus score. And West Indies just completely capitulated. So that's kind of the match summary. So if you wanted to know what happened in a very broad and vague way, then there you go, and you can click off now. You should subscribe. But
We'll see you
let
next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. But let's talk about some of our sort of I don't know the things that we found the most interesting, the people that we like the look of the most. I'm happy to start things off with a couple of spinners. I want to talk about Kevin Sinclair and I want to talk about Shoaib Bashir because I was actually quite impressed with both of them. I thought Kevin Sinclair, particularly in the first innings, bowled very well. I thought he was sort of looking the most threatening um, of a lot of the bowlers. Really, I mean, obviously the Alzari Joseph ended up taking the most wickets in that first innings, but he went over sixes and over, whereas Kevin Sinclair actually kept it quite tight, and he did look like he was causing a bit of grief to
Hmm.
the English batsmen. What were your thoughts on sort of Kevin Sinclair and obviously Shah Bashir, who's taken a home fifer, which is brilliant after not getting involved in the game
Yeah,
against
it it
last
was
time.
interesting because there didn't seem to be a lot of spin until Bashir started bowling in that innings. Yeah, Sinclair was troubling them a bit. I still think um he removed Harry Brook, who was looking set. He got Gus Atkinson very early on, but he looked okay, but I wouldn't say he was super threatening in that first innings. He came back a bit more in the second innings, and the issue was though that the England that the two players that he was bowling at in the second innings with Joe Root and Harry Brook are just such good players of spin. Like
Mm.
immediately after he came on, he was being swept and they I mean his economy rate in the excuse me,
Bless you.
his
That's
economy
staying in.
rate his economy rate in the second innings, I mean, just goes to show what happened there. There was elements of turn, there was elements of bounce, there was a few things that would have worried those England batters. Well, but Shoaib Bashir eyes would have lit up as well. I think by the time we got into the evening session on day four today, there was something there for the spinners, and it was something that the pitch at Trent Bridge hadn't done. Interestingly, Shoaib Bashir is the first player, full stop, the first spinner to take a Test match fifer since 2006. So it's been 18 years since the last time a spinner took 5 wickets at Trent Bridge. So it
Wow.
just goes to show that there isn't always that much on offer. Trembridge is renowned for being a good batting surface. I mean, and wow, it was. I mean, 1,500 runs scored over 4 days just goes to show. Um, England really impressed me this Test match. I think, that first innings they looked good, but at times England were a bit scrappy. I think Ollie Pope, he wasn't chanceless. He was dropped quite early on. I think if West Indies had held on to a few more of their catches throughout the whole of this match, it could have looked a lot different. I think that, and the same goes for England. Joe Root dropped Kavam Hodge, and that again proved to be very, very, very costly. I think that it's always going to be a good batting track, but England really showed themselves and really showed what they were made of in that second innings. I think Ben Duckett, I mean, it's his home ground, came out and played fantastically. Ollie Pope looked very mature at the crease again. And then this morning, Harry Brook and Joe Root looked almost imperious when they put those runs on. I mean, they put on 219 runs or something like that, like that, or like 180 something. Like they put on a lot of runs. I think it was the record fourth wicket partnership for an England pair. So it was just really impressive with what they did. Having said that, it was still a very good batting track. And when West Indies were 61 for naught, it was looking like, is 385 enough? But then, as Carlos Brathwaite has dubbed it, the Calypso Collapso happened, and it was one of those where, yeah, it was a very England style of collapse, I think, from the West Indies today. But hats off to the England bowlers because they really showed themselves up. And yes, you were asking about spinners. Shoaib Bashir was that was my entire segue to Shoaib
That's
Bashir.
all right. You did mention Shoaib Bashir in there, and
Shoaib
it
Bashir
was
was
impressive.
phenomenal
Yeah,
today. He
was
he
good.
bowled with such he bowled with such maturity. Considering the kid's 22, 23, he's got three Test match fifers, right? He's never taken more than 3 wickets in a county championship in innings. So
Mm.
he's done more in Test than he has in first class. And I don't know the reason that he's not there. Like, I mean, he's been bowling more this year because Jack Leach has been injured, but he needs more play at Somerset, this kid, because like he needs to be leading the spin of whatever county he's at because he is such a fantastic talent that we've managed to find.
Yeah, and by the way, he's only 20, so he is even younger than you think. And he has been
Ridiculous.
very impressive. I've got to say that, and we'll kind of come on to the whole, Jimmy Anson's now retired, which is obviously a massive thing. Um, and there's slightly new look-ish England bowling attack, not really. But the main thing I want to sort of pick out quickly on the West Indies is that there is hope there. With that first batting innings from the West Indies,
Mhm.
one thing I thought was really good was the fact that Craig Brathwaite got 48 at a strike rate of 66. We got Alec Athanase 82 off 99. So quite, very fast clip there. And it was a really good 82. I thought he was kind of unlucky to get out almost. Kavem Hodge, 120 off 171. So another fast knock. Joshua De Silva, 82 off 122. Fast knock. So they're playing quite positive cricket. And I think it really suits them. And that's the kind of that's the takeaway I think West Indies almost need to have is that in a similar way that England in 2021 looked like a team that were just a bit rubbish apart from Joe Root. Like genuinely, people were questioning whether the county system's fit for purpose, whether it's actually bringing through any good players, whether
Yeah.
people just don't actually know how to bat. These are all questions that are going through. And suddenly, Stokes and McCullum come in and they introduce this positive mindset. And it all it was a mindset change, and a changing room culture and things like that. And it brings out the kind of the freedom, the enjoyment, and the best of the ability of those batters. And I do wonder whether this West Indies side that could very easily get, quite a lot of criticism because there aren't many names that you recognize. They're all kind of either they haven't played that many. Well, almost all of them haven't played that many tests. They're quite. It's overall quite a young side. I wonder whether if they adopted more of a positive mindset in the way that they bat, that would solve a lot of their sort of woes as an overall setup. And it
Yeah.
seemed to be that way in that first innings. And what I liked about them was that they were also composed. They weren't taking stupid unnecessary risks for the most part. There were some horror shots, but
Yeah.
overall, they did pretty well.
Agree. I mean, if you compare how they batted at Trent Bridge in the first innings and at Lords at the first innings, it was absolutely night and day. Like they looked terrified at Lords. I think, with the exception of maybe Jason Holder looked okay. I think Craig Brathwaite with his experience seemed to be there, but the rest of these players at Lords were just almost trying to survive rather than trying to look just to score. Whereas that was completely different from them in their first innings at Trent Bridge. And yeah, such hope for the future with the likes of Athanaze and Hodge. And I think the bowling attack too, like for a long time. I mean, if you think back to the last time West Indies toured England, you had Shannon Gabriel, you had Kemar Roach, you had, to be fair, you had Jason Holder there as well. But you had these players that had been a core part of the West Indies lineup for a number of years. And now you've got this whole fresh faced team. I mean, Shamar Joseph, he's been playing in the county setup, as has Jaden Seals, and they've both been impressive. So I think having them do that and having them just play more, I think has been fantastic for these players. And yeah, I think it really does give a bit of hope for this West Indies team.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to the next game. I believe it's at Edgbaston. So yeah, really excited for that. It's obviously, the series is won, but the best thing that the thing I love about Test cricket is it's first of all it is the test. You can't really hide in Test cricket. You have to be a good player because you are going to be scrutinized because there is almost there obviously is over a very very extended time scale that you're playing, so every aspect of your game is challenged, and it contributes to history. Yeah, every single test match you'll get anoraks that are kind of looking back from the 1800s and looking forward, and that it's all compiling to the history, and you're contributing to that every test match that you play. And that's why I think it's so important that every team values the matches that they play. So the West Indies, I'm hoping, are looking forward to really coming back, trying to save face in this next test match. I hope England are going to try and come as hard as they can.
Yeah.
I thought that the bowling attack they chose, while I was a touch disappointed not to see somebody like Dylan Pennington or Matthew Potts come in instead of potentially Chris Wokes, just because I kind of wanted to see a slightly different look. I wanted to sort of if we're retiring Anderson because we think that he's not going to be a long-term option, then we might as well play some players that are more likely to play kind of overseas and at home. I'm not saying drop Wokes forever, but I'm saying it'd be nice to see perhaps a touch of rotation. So who knows what we'll see in Edgbaston, but that's what I would like to see. Now I've got something that Look Who's Watching, a loyal subscriber and member, a gold member of the Cricket Nerds, he's given us a load of IPL gossip. So I thought, why not throw that in the end of this?
Amazing.
So, are you ready to hear it?
I'm ready to hear it.
So, Look Who's Watching has said, "Hey nerds, hearing on the grapevine that I'm going to go in reverse order because I think the top one's the most interesting. 4 franchises to change their captain. We've got Jasprit Bumrah and Surya Kumar Yadav are to leave Mumbai Indians. That's another bit of sort of gossip that he's hearing. Rohit Sharma to join Gujarat Titans or Delhi Capitals. And do you want to hear the final piece of gossip?
Go on.
Rishabh Pant to join Chennai Super Kings. Now, none of this I don't think is confirmed in the slightest. The only bit of IPL gossip I've heard is that Ricky Ponting's left Delhi Capitals.
Gosh,
Um,
are we going to spread fake news here?
well, I'm more than happy to. I think it's interesting. So I'm up for making up some more. So you come up with a fake news bulletin, and I'll come up with one, and we'll see who's. Let us know in the comments who you prefer more by just acting as if it's real. Okay. So I'm gonna go with Joss Butler is set to become the captain of the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Okay, that's my bit of
Ooh,
fake news. He's going to
big
be the
fake news.
captain of Sunrisers Hyderabad.
The thing is, we're saying it like it's fake news, but we don't know if this gossip is or not. I mean, this could all
Yeah,
be. I
well,
mean,
look
look
who's
who's
watching this.
watching has always been a reliable source. So
Exactly. So, we're making up fake news. The stuff that Look Who's Watching is telling us might actually be real, in which case, that is pretty crazy. I think Rishabh Pant would do a very good job at CSK, especially
yeah,
seeing like a succession plan to MS Dhoni. Rohit Sharma, makes sense for him to leave after Hardik Pandya's kind of the captain. Jasprit Bumrah and Sky to leave Mumbai. That would be massive if that
yeah.
happens.
I would say the big fake news:
Go on,
Virat
again.
Kohli to retire from IPL cricket.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a title in itself. Virat Kohli retiring from the
The thing is,
IPL.
the thing is, if MS Dhoni has another year, which he may well still do. Not if Rishabh Pant joins CSK, but if MSC has another year, Kohli's got no excuse. I mean, especially after, I mean, a few of them are retired from T20Is at the end of the World Cup, didn't they? So,
Yeah.
there's going to be a changing of the guard in there anyway. I feel like those players are going to go and focus on their test match careers. So, I mean, potentially seeing them play less IPL. I mean, they'll always play IPL because it's the biggest money in cricket. But, you know, yeah. Oh, such interesting gossip that we can have.
Yeah.
Um,
But we'll leave it there. Thank you
awesome.
so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. Obviously, we've had a little bit of a hiatus. Zach's shipped off to Australia now, so we'll see him on some podcasts at some really inconvenient times, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you so much for the continued support. Thank you for the members who have stuck around as well. That's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.
And the 100 starts soon, which everyone loves.